Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're wrestling with a case that's just incredibly tangled. It's got politics, betrayal. I mean, the department practically tried to bury it from day one.
Absolutely. We're diving into Detective Harry Bosch's investigation into what looked like a straightforward suicide on Christmas Day. But, well, it turned out to be anything but. It was actually a pretty audacious murder and identity theft.
Right, and we've dug through a lot here. IAD files, autopsy reports, narc intel.
Yeah, we've synthesized quite a bit. Our mission really is to map out this whole conspiracy. How does a major drug kingpin end up getting buried with full police honors? And how does a decorated cop, Calexico Moore, basically vanish by becoming the guy he was supposed to be chasing?
So let's set the scene. Christmas night, a pretty grim motel room over on Franklin.
Yeah.
Inside, Sergeant Calexico Moore, narcotics guy, dead, shotgun, looks like suicide.
But right away, things are off. I mean, seriously off. The body is already, well, the term used was ripe, advanced decomposition.
Ripe, but the AC was supposedly blasting.
Exactly. That's your first huge red flag. Why would the body be left there like that for days? And then there's the speed, the unnatural speed. The department moved. Yeah. Assistant Chief Irving, the robbery homicide, bigwigs, RHD, they're all over it. Instantly, taking control, telling the media, yep, clean suicide. They wanted it shut down, like yesterday.
And they had a story ready to go, didn't they? More the troubled cop.
Oh, yeah. The narrative was practically pre-written. He had substance abuse problems, no marital issues with his wife Sylvia. Plus, he was under the microscope from IAD, internal affairs. A Detective Chastain was apparently all over him.
So the official line is just, tragic downward spiral, ends with a shotgun. Simple.
Too simple. Because there was a note, and the note just, it didn't fit that narrative at all.
What did it say?
Just a few words. I found out who I was.
I found out who I was. That sounds different, not like giving up.
Exactly. It sounds like a discovery, maybe even a revelation. For Bosch, that note was the signal. This wasn't simple. It was calculated. Something much bigger was going on.
Okay, so if it's not suicide, what is it? Bosch starts connecting dots, right, to his own cases.
Yes, because Moore's death, or apparent death, slams right into two of Bosch's active, unsolved homicides. Suddenly, it looks like maybe part of a hidden drug war.
Two bodies. Who were they?
So first, there's Jimmy Capps. He was a drug courier, apparently from Hawaii, found strangled under the Hollywood freeway. And the method was specific baling wire, little wooden dowels used like handles. Very efficient, very brutal.
Okay.
And Capps was packed with product, like 42 condoms full of high-grade meth, the kind they called glass.
Glass. That's the expensive stuff, right? Often imported.
That's the one, top shelf. Then body number 2, Juan Doe number 67. Later ID'd as Fernal Gutierrez Llosa. He was a day laborer, beaten to death, dumped in an alley.
And the connection to Moore.
This is critical. Calexico Moore, the supposed suicide victim, was the reporting officer on that Juan Doe scene, the day before he checked into that motel and, disappeared.
Oh, okay, that's no coincidence.
Not in Bosch's world, no way. It suggests Moore was tangled up in this somehow, either involved or maybe trying to blow the whistle before whatever happened.
And this ties into the drug itself, the one causing the chaos. Black ice.
Exactly, that's the shift. Glass was the old guard, maybe. Black ice was the new monster. Moore himself apparently called it the drug for the 21st century.
What made it different?
Unlike the cleaner, pricier glass, black ice was nasty. A cheap, powerful hybrid. Cocaine, heroin, often tar heroin, hence the black part in PCP.
PCP, wow.
Yeah. Highly addictive, potent, easy to move. And crucially, it was being sourced from one specific operation south of the border in Mexico.
So we've got Capps, maybe representing the old glass competition getting taken out.
Mm-hmm.
And Juan Doe, the laborer, may be connected to this new black ice pipeline.
Seems that way. But the real kicker, the thing that cracks the case wide open, comes from the tiniest piece of evidence on Juan Doe.
The bugs.
Bugs, like forensic entomology. You got it. But not just any bugs. The ME, Teresa Corazon, found these minuscule pink-dyed larvae in his nasal passages, his stomach contents, along with, get this, wheat dust.
Pink-dyed larvae? What on earth?
They weren't normal maggots, they were medflies. Mediterranean fruit flies, sterilized ones.
Sterilized, like the kind the government uses for pest control. You see those warnings sometimes.
Exactly. The Department of Agriculture breeds these things in massive numbers, dyes them pink to track them, sterilizes them with radiation, then releases them. The wheat dust, that was the specific food they use in the breeding facilities.
So finding those on Wando.
It meant he had to have been killed, or at least his body stored very, very close to one of these breeding facilities, or involved in transporting something from one.
Okay.
Where are these places?
Well, the biggest USDA-contracted facility in the whole region. It's right near Mexicali.
Mexicali. And that name, Calexico Moore. Calexico Mexicali.
But that's not just geography, is it? That's Moore's whole history.
It's everything. It's the core of his trauma. His wife, Sylvia, she told Bosch about it. Cal was obsessed with Calexico, the U.S. side of the border, always going back there alone.
Why?
It goes back to his childhood. His father, Cecil Moore, was some wealthy guy over in Calexico, but he rejected Cal and his mother, basically shipped them off to live in Mexicali. Cecil even had this big, imposing house there called the Castillo de los Ojos, the Castle of the Eyes. That rejection haunted Cal his whole life.
So his personal demons led him right back to the doorstep of the Black Ice operation.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because Mexicali is ground zero for the drug kingpin running the show, Humberto Osorio, street name El Papa, the Pope.
El Papa. And he's the source of the Black Ice.
He runs the whole operation from just outside Mexicali, has this massive underground bunker for production, and guess what his cover business is?
Let me guess.
The
The Fly Factory.
bingo. EnviroBreed, that's the local name for the sterile fly facility. Zorilla was using it, smuggling black ice across the border in those sealed, supposedly high-security environmental boxes the USDA required. Brilliant, really. And corrupt.
Unbelievable cover.
Yeah.
But the link between Moore, the cop, and Zerillo, the drug lord,
Yeah.
it gets even more personal, doesn't it?
Way deeper than just a cop on the take. Bosch found hidden photos, files Moore kept.
What did they show?
They were brothers, half-brothers, same father, Cecil Moore. They grew up together in Mexicali, in the same barrio place called Saints and Sinners.
So one brother becomes a cop, battling drugs. The other becomes the kingpin, flooding L.A. with a new one. Both shaped by the same father who rejected them.
Exactly. Moore was caught literally between two worlds, two identities, straddling that border his whole life.
And Moore knew this. He knew Zerillo was his brother.
Seems like he always knew. And he'd been putting together this file, maybe for Bosch, maybe for himself. It looks like he was trying to cross back, get out from under Zerillo's thumb. But it was too late. People were dying.
Right. The bodies Bosch was investigating. Caps and Wando.
Zorillo was cleaning house. Caps, the competitor, was taken up by Zorillo's main enforcer, a guy named Arpus, known for his teardrop tattoos. Wando probably stumbled onto something at EnviroBreed, got killed, and his body was likely smuggled back across the border inside one of those fly boxes.
Jesus. And then there was a third murder, wasn't there? To muddy the waters even more.
Yeah. Lucius Porter. He was the original detective who caught the Wando case before Moore took it over. Porter was kind of washed up, but he was there first. Later, he turns up dead, strangled with baling wire, just like Caps, and dumped in a landfill.
And Bosch gets blamed for that one.
Almost immediately. This is where the departmental politics get really dirty. Assistant Chief Irving points the finger straight at Bosch, using some flimsy testimony from a bartender. It felt like Irving was deliberately creating chaos, a smokescreen.
A smokescreen?
Go.
To keep everyone looking away from the Moore suicide.
Precisely. While everyone's distracted by Bosch potentially being dirty, the Moore case gets rubber-stamped and closed. Quick and quiet.
But the autopsy results. Teresa Corazon must have found something definitive about the supposed suicide.
She did. And it was explosive. Irving tried to bury it, but Corazon found clear evidence of a contracoup injury in the brain of the body found in the motel.
Contracoup, explain that. What does that mean physically?
Okay, so think about it like physics. If you get hit hard on one side of the head, your brain can slam into the opposite side of your skull. A contracoup injury is damage on the side opposite the impact. In this case, she found bleeding at the front of the brain.
Okay.
The only way to get that specific injury is from a massive blow to the back of the head. It means the victim was hit from behind hard enough to cause brain injury before the shotgun blast to the face.
So he was already unconscious or incapacitated.
Exactly. It makes suicide physically impossible. This was an execution staged to look like suicide.
Homicide, no question.
Yeah.
But whose body was it then? If it wasn't Moore killing himself.
That's the masterstroke. It wasn't Moore's body.
Right.
It was Zorro's. Moore killed his own half-brother.
He killed Zerillo and made it look like his own suicide.
How? The fingerprints. Moore, being a cop, had access. And apparently years ago, he'd fingerprinted Zerillo to create some fake border crossing IDs for him. So Moore had Zerillo's prints on file.
Okay.
He swapped them. He took Zerillo's prints and substituted them for his own official Department of Justice prints in the system used to identify the body at the scene.
Wait, he could just swap official DOJ prints.
It sounds crazy, but think about the context. RHD was there. Irving was pushing for closure. They ran the prints from the scene. They matched the name Calexico Moore in the system because Moore had put Zerillo's prints under his own name. The dental records were apparently a close enough partial match not to raise immediate alarms for a team that wanted this to be Moore.
So it was. Confirmation bias, willful blindness.
A bit of both, fueled by Irving's agenda. They got the ID they expected, the one that solved their problem cop issue, and they stopped looking deeper.
Unbelievable. And the note, I found out who I was. What did that really mean?
That was the most chilling part. It wasn't Moore's confession. It was a message. From the Saints and Sinners barrio, Zerillo's old turf, they had this saying, "El descubrió quién era." He found out who he was.
Meaning?
It was what Zerillo's hitmen, like Arpus, would say or leave as a message after they took someone out. A kind of brutal, final statement. Moore used his brother's own gang signature against him, leaving it on Zerillo's body.
So let's reconstruct. Moore confronts Zerillo, maybe at the motel, knocks him out with a blow to the back of the head, then uses the shotgun.
Yep. Then he strips Zerillo, dresses him in his own clothes, his own boots, even sets one boot up carefully to sell the suicide staging, leaves his own prints, Calexico Moore's prints, on the shotgun and his badge nearby, plants the note.
And walks away.
As who? As Humberto Zerillo. He takes his brother's identity, his money, his operation. He escaped. The escape vehicle, that pale green Envirobreed van, was later found ditched near the Castillo de los Ojos.
That?
Symbolic, right? Back where the family rejection started.
And the DEA raid that happened later at Zerillo's place.
Moore was probably watching from a distance. The DEA hit the ranch, but El Papa wasn't there because El Papa was dead in a motel room in L.A., and Calexico Moore was now driving away, presumably with a lot of Zerillo's cash.
And in the chaos of that raid,
Arpus, the hitman, got killed. So did Grana, the corrupt South Pasadena police captain, who was also likely involved, conveniently tying up loose ends for the newly minted Humberto Zerillo, formerly Calexico Moore.
he literally became the powerful man his father sort of represented, but on the wrong side of the law, the life he felt he was denied.
It seems like it, but the most cynical part, the absolute kicker.
Go on.
Emmy Corazon went directly to Irving. She told him, the prints from the body do not match Calexico Moore's official DOJ prints on file. This is not him. She confirmed it was Zerillo.
Then Irving.
He buried it. He let the funeral proceed. Humberto Zerillo, drug kingpin, mass murderer, was buried with full LAPD honors as Sergeant Calexico Moore, a fallen hero.
Protecting the department's image above all else. Above the truth.
Absolutely. Revealing Moore's corruption, Zerillo's infiltration, the sheer scale of the Black Ice operation. That was unthinkable for Irving. So the official story stood. Suicide. Case closed.
Wow. And that name, Black Ice.
Ah.
It ended up meaning more than just the drug, didn't it?
Yeah, Sylvia, Moore's wife, she explained it to Bosch later. It's like that invisible ice on the road in winter. Black ice. You don't see it.
Until you're already sliding.
Exactly. Sliding out of control. And that was Moore's life, wasn't it? Sliding further and further across that moral line. Killing Zerillo and stealing his identity was his, I guess, desperate attempt to grab the wheel back.
So Moore finally found out who he was. Not just Zerillo's brother, but maybe someone lost between worlds, like that Steppenwolf character from the Hess novel Bosch reads. A man trying to escape his past by becoming someone even more dangerous.
Yeah, he shed one skin for another. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe Moore only got away with it because the institution, the LAPD under Irving, was already compromised. Maybe it had its own black ice, that hidden, slippery corruption that it needed to protect at all costs, even the cost of burying a kingpin as a hero.
A really dark thought. Did escaping his past just require stepping onto even more dangerous ground enabled by the system itself? Something to think about.